Hello world and welcome back to Hello Wordle. So we've had a great run of tutorials so far, importing our design, adding some of the functionality, creating this grid that we see before us, and even adding the ability to check for some of the letters, like so. We can guess like this. But what we want to do today, the main focus for our tutorial, is to dial in this word or this answer checking algorithm that we've been working on. So it's okay, but it's not perfect. So we want to finish that part off, and the main focus, of course, is to add in our own dictionary or our own selection of words so that we can completely customize this to be whatever theme or category that we want it to be. So in the previous example, this is kind of what we were doing here. We have our, I call it Wordle, maybe a solution. Solution would be a better word, and at the moment it's crane. And this was okay, but let's change it out to have duplicate letters in it, like so, and see what happens then. So let's try craft. Let's try carts. And if we try carry, and if we try carry, that doesn't seem to work at all. So there's something is not quite right with the algorithm that we've got here. So we want to make sure that that works properly for everybody. And the main issue that we have is with duplicate letters. Okay, so let's just do a quick run through or quick overview on how lists work. In this case, we are passing the word crane and splitting it up at every single letter. So we don't pass any delimiter over here. We're not passing any comma or hyphen or anything like that to split it up. And the output will be each letter will be an item or an element of a list. And we know it's a list because it's got the brackets or the parentheses around it. And you're already familiar with lists. If you've ever seen like a bullet list like this, you know what it is. But a better way of thinking about lists, or a better mental model to use for lists, is the ordered list or the numbered list like this. So not only does each item have a value, C or A, N, and E in this case, it also has a location, or we call them an index. So index 1 or location 1 is the letter C. In the second location, or index 2, we have the letter or, all the way down to letter 5 or index 5, which has a value of E. So what I'm going to do is just show them in a line like this, separated by commas. That's the output. And then similarly, we also use this block, the list of labels on the game screen. It's a much longer list because there are 30 labels in our design that we did back in lesson 2. So if we were to compare these side by side, you see that the output of this one, it's got 5 letters, so it has 5 elements in it. This one has 30 labels in our design, so we have 30 different elements here. And that's why we had to do that little bit of math yesterday, or in the previous example, to go from to get the next row of labels. Now, when it comes to implementing our guessing algorithm, what we're going to do is we're going to read in the first letter from the user. So let's say they guess the word helps, and in this scenario, our solution is the word crane. So we go through each letter one at a time in the solution, and we're like, is this an H? Is this an H? Is this an H? If we get to the end and we don't find anything, we don't have to do anything. Let's take the second example here of the E, and we go through again one letter at a time, checking, is this one an E? Is this one an E? Is this one an E? And if we do get a match, if we do get a hit, we have to do a second check, because we need to tell the user whether the guess is just the right letter, or if it's the right letter in the right place. And so to do that, we need those indexes or those indices to tell us, okay, so E in our guess is in index 2, or has an index of 2, whereas the E in our solution has an index or a location of 5. We just check, is 2 equal to 5? And if it were, if E were the second letter here in our solution, we would turn that square green, as you're already familiar with, but in this case we turn it this kind of yellow mustard color here, like that. And so that's it. That's your primer on lists, and a quick overview of how our guessing or our searching algorithm is going to work. Let's jump into Thunkable and start building it. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is make our blocks here look a little bit more like the ones that we saw in the slide. Let's create a list with a delimiter. Let's use, again, the same piece of text. This is just going to make it easier, or I feel it makes it easier for us to add our dictionary at the end. It's going to be crane is going to be our solution for the first one here. Let's get rid of this list, and here we go. That's our solution. We've got a list of letters, and then we're going to need one more variable. So recall that we want to read one letter at a time. So we're going to create a variable here, and we're going to call that the current letter, like this. And it's going to be a piece of text, so we'll just put an empty string in here. And we want to go through crane one letter at a time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to get rid of this loop here because we can do this a little bit more easily, I guess. So we're going to count from 1 to 5, like so. So we're going to count with I from 1 to 5, and we are going to get that letter from our solution. So we're going to set our current letter like this to get the item in the list. Let's get the item in the list here. We're going to get item I. So in our list of letters, that's from the user, we're going to get the ith element, or whatever lives at index I. So get the first letter, get the second letter, get the third letter, get the fourth and the fifth. And then we want to do a comparison. So we want to check, does the current letter, so I'll get rid of that one there, does the current letter, does our solution contain the current letter? And that's kind of what we saw before. We're going through one letter at a time, and then if this is what we need to update here, we want to see if the letter is in the right place. And to do that, and this is how we avoid the kind of issue with duplicates, we want to see if the right letter is in the right place. So we're going to go from instead of finding the first occurrence, this is what kind of trips us up when we have duplicate letters. Instead of going from the first occurrence like that, we are going to check, are the two letters in the same place? So let's just pop that in here and let's take a look at it. Here in the list of in the solution and in our list of letters, okay, like this, in our list of letters, and then we're going to use this value I again, like so. Here, let's delete all of the extra ones that we don't need. And so let's think about this here. So in our example, in the slides that we had, E was the second letter of the input, and E was the fifth letter of the solution. So in this case, we would jump down here and we would output this. This is the yellow color on the screen. And one more thing then that we want to tidy up here is we want to get rid of those two, and we're going to reuse I just as we did at the beginning, like this, to get the correct label and change the label colors. So we can try something like helps. We see it has an E. We can try crave. Yeah, we can see that works. And then we can see that carry, we actually get a false positive here. So we've only got one OR in crane. And we need to kind of figure out one way then to remove, once we've got the correct letter, we need to figure out a way to remove that. So we can do that with one more variable. We're going to call this a cache. C-A-C-H-E, like that. Like this. Zoom in a bit, try and make this a little bit easier to see. And the cache is just going to be, cache is just a place where you temporarily store something. And once we've created that cache, then what we want to do is basically make a copy of the actual solution, so that we're not modifying it or removing it or anything like that in any way. We would set the cache to be a copy of the solution, and here if the now we're going to work with the cache instead. If this cache contains the current letter, we are going to remove that letter from the cache. So let's have a look at what that looks like. In the list remove, like that in our cache. Ooh. We can undo that, undo our last delete, make a copy, Control C and Control V, remove the first occurrence of that letter in the list. Find the first occurrence. Find the first occurrence of our current letter, like so. Let's try it out again, and let's make sure that we don't get any of those false positives. So we can try crave. Again, that's perfect. If we try carry with the two ors, we saw the last time that we got that false positive for the second or, and yeah, we can try something else. Okay, and crane. This all seems to be working really nicely for us now. The only issue, though, of course, is that it still allows us to guess. So we want to keep track of how many guesses we've made and have we got 5 letters in the correct place. 5 correct letters in the correct place. So that's the next thing to do. So in this section here of our blocks, we check if the letter is in the correct position. And if it is, we use this code here to turn it green. And we can also add in some extra logic to check how many of those letters are in the correct place. So in our case, we want to see, have they got 5 letters in the right place in the word. We'll create a new variable then, just to keep track of that. Initialize a new variable like so, and we can call this correct letters, like this. And this is going to be a number, so even though it's called correct letters, we wanted to keep track of how many letters are in the correct place. We'll start it off at 0, and then every time we make a guess, we're going to need to zero that out. So don't forget that if we get 1 right in the first one and then we get another 2 right in the next one, we'll actually end up giving a false positive here for solving the game. So every time we click the guess button, we want to zero out the number of correct letters so that our count is accurate. And this is the part then where we want to increase the number of correct letters. So we can use this block here, change, like that. Now we don't want to change the list of letters. Make sure you don't change the wrong variable. We want to change the number of correct letters here by 1. So we start at 0. Every time one of the labels turns green, we're going to increase that by 1. And then we want to do a quick check to see if that number equals 5. So we go if, and in our logic here is where we can do our equals condition. We want to check if it equals to 5. And we discussed earlier that if you had longer words or shorter words, maybe you'd want to just use a variable in here. But we're gonna stick with 5 for the moment. Let's check if our number of correct letters is equal to 5, and then if it is, what do we want to do? Maybe we want to show a little output message to say well done. That would be in our top navigator maybe. What do we have here? Nope, not in our top nav. We have... do we have any label maybe where we can display this? Not really. So what we could do maybe is just switch off the block here. We could use an alert or whatever, but for the time being, let's just deactivate this guess button. So let's set the disable property here to be true, and that's going to be the kind of the end of the game. And maybe we should put in an alert here as well to say congrats, you won the game, or you guessed it, or whatever it is. Title message, title be congrats, and then you guess the word. Like this. Let's submit that, and then let's just call this alert here by getting it to show. Perfect. So yeah, that pretty much concludes this portion anyway. We've got our algorithm fully dialed in now at this stage. let's try something like hurry. For our duplicate letters, we see we only get one or. Did we try something like the craft? I think the crane is the solution here, isn't it? And if we guess that, it says you guess the word, confirm, and that's it. And we can still type in things here. Maybe you can use the same logic and disable this text input as well if you like. So maybe we'll do that. But let's switch off the text input as well while we're at it. We have text input 1. Let's set that enable property here. Or even visible. We can just hide it entirely so the user can't type anything in. But that is it for this. So we've got the algorithm dialed in. We are not counting any duplicate letters, so it's pretty thorough here. We're not doing too bad. We've got 200 blocks so far, and then not an enormous amount extra then. We can use the exact same logic. I suppose that's probably where we'll start in the next one. We can use the exact same logic that we just showed here to have a number of guesses. So we've got 6 guesses here. We want to make sure that every time the user takes a new guess, that our number of guesses goes down, and that we don't let them keep guessing indefinitely if they've run out of rows on the screen. And then, yeah, finally to add in your own custom dictionary as well. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to subscribe. And of course, the best way to support these tutorials is by sharing them with people that you know. Share them online or on Twitter or whatever it is. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.